Hello and welcome to week 6. Let's check in with our syllabus to see what we have going on this week as we approach nearing the end of our semester. We have a few things that we're working on this week, specifically looking at digital resources in teaching writing. So here we have our learning outcomes and chapters and work for week 6. So our first learning outcome is that we will summarize effective strategies and tools to use to integrate writing across the content areas in elementary classrooms. And that is going to be coupled with our 5th learning outcome, where we integrate digital tools and resources and writing across the content areas in our digital tool share. So there's a Google spreadsheet that we will be collaborating on to come up with some resources for writing across the content area, specifically digital resources. Our second learning outcome, we're going to be describing and reflecting on writing across content areas in your schools and classrooms, and that will be part of your discussion board conversation. This third learning outcome, we are going to explain the strengths and challenges of writing. This is not necessarily going to be a separate student writing piece. It will be a part of that digital tool share. And then you're going to be continuing your assessment plan and assessment notebook for your small group of students that you've targeted to help build their writing skills. So that started in week 4, so that's just a continuation of your work with that group. So if we come back into our weekly content and we start to take a look at week 6, here's the information that you're going to need for your discussion board. Again, remembering that you are posting your comments and replying to the other colleagues as well. So when students have to articulate their thoughts in writing, they're forced to think deeply about what they're putting on paper. So when we're writing, we have to be intentional about what we're writing. We have to think about it to transfer it from thought to paper. So what are 2 benefits to integrating writing across the content areas? Why is it important for us to think about that? Why is it important for that to happen in our enhancement classrooms? That's not always something that is thought of when we talk about writing across the curriculum or writing across content areas, but those enhancement classes are just as important and actually work on a lot of what we would consider to be our general core curriculum content. And so what about connecting writing to that? How have you seen this done in your classrooms or in your schools? And what activity in Chapter 12 would you be able to apply? So in Chapter 12, you will find a little bit of support and some resources to be able to connect writing across the content area, and then maybe some of those that would apply. So that is your discussion board question. And make sure to reference Chapter 12 because, again, there are resources and general discussion on writing across the content areas. I've also included a video for you just as a resource, just as a tool. This video is not the newest video, but it's probably one of the more original videos where, although this is a high school, it can easily be done at an elementary level. So, and to be honest, if it was done at a high school, I think it could be easier to manage at an elementary school. So just take a look at this video. It's only about 6 minutes long, but this team of teachers at Brockton High School decided, based on some assessment reports that they got back, that one of the greatest areas of improvement that they noticed was not so much the content, but more the writing. So students may have known the content, but they were not able to write about it in their constructed response exam questions. So that video is there as a support to show what can happen when we focus on writing across the content areas, including enhancements and including those classes that we may not necessarily think right off the bat can easily connect to writing. So then the work that you're going to be doing this week in week 6 is going to connect back to this digital tools and cross-curriculum writing tools spreadsheet. So when you log in, and some of you have already done this, you're going to see two tabs. The first tab is your Digital Tools tab, and this is where you're going to be finding digital tools that could support elementary writing in your classrooms. So you're going to identify the website name or the tool name, provide the link. Where does it connect? So where does it connect in the writing process or in any type of writing or across the content areas? And then any feedback or notes on what the tool is. Then your cross-curriculum, again, some of you have already been working on. You each need to identify the content area. So I've given these reading, math, science, social studies, and enhancement areas. You're going to choose a standard course of study. So it's going to be reading, standard course of study, math, science, social studies, and enhancement area. And the type of writing connection. So how are we connecting, or where are we connecting writing within those content areas? This could also not just be like in the generating or brainstorming place, but also include here narrative writing, poetry writing, biographical writing, anything like that where we can connect the type of writing. And then a sample activity that could connect to it. So what are some ways that we can include writing in math using this standard? What type of writing is it going to be? And then what is the sample activity that we could use when we apply that information? So this week is relatively simple in that we're not creating a writing piece on our own, but we're rather reflecting on what does writing across the content area really look like? What are some ways that we maybe can introduce that? If it's not a practice in your schools, do we have learning logs? Do we have our double entry journals for note taking? Do we use KWL charts? How are we incorporating writing in areas other than a specific writing allotted time in our schedule of the day? So I look forward to reading your information that you're posting. I'm interested to see what's happening in our schools when it comes to writing across the content areas. Specifically, I'd love to hear about how writing looks in your enhancement classes, if at all. Some may have exams, and that could be the extent of the writing in the class. But I would love to see if there's maybe some more that's happening. So I look forward to that information. And again, make sure that we're putting the information in our spreadsheet and that we're connecting it to the content areas and different types of writing. Poetry writing, narrative, biographical, any of those, persuasive writing. What could that look like? So thank you so much.